What's up everyone, this is Anthony from Anthony's Customs. For this video we're going to look at the Halo 3 Co-op Deluxe 4-pack from McFarlane. This is part of the Halo Universe line, or series, or whatever you want to call it. And this is Series 1. This includes Master Chief, which is the newest version of the Halo 3 Master Chief, a new version of Arbiter, same mold but new paint scheme, and 2 new figures. Those figures are, well, their names are not names most people are going to know off the top of their head, so I'll just show it, because otherwise most people won't know what I'm talking about. The blue one is that, and the purplish one is that. However you pronounce that, that's up to you. Okay, and it also comes with a bunch of accessories. We have the assault rifle, the battle rifle, 3 plasma rifles, 3 carbines or carbines, and 1 plasma pistol. Now, one thing you might notice, especially after looking at the plasma pistol, the pegs are really big. Now, I'm pretty sure these are the Halo Reach pegs that should not be with these figures, but are. So you might have some trouble putting those into the actual peg holes on the figures, and even getting the pegs into the weapons properly. Aside from that, though, we don't really have too many problems with these figures. Let's finish looking at the accessories first, and then we'll look at the actual figures. The paint scheme is what you would expect. Pretty standard for McFarlane. Nice detail work. The sculpt work is nice on the accessories. I have to say the battle rifle does leave me wanting a little bit more. It's kind of cheap feeling. The paint's not the best. I mean, it's good enough, but it's just kind of bland overall. But it's okay. The assault rifle is not bad. We've seen it 100 times. It feels a little nicer to me than the battle rifle. I don't know why, but there it is. And then, of course, the carbines are the same as always. Nicely sculpted. Could use a little bit more of a paint application because we're missing some detailing throughout, but still not too bad. It still looks decent. Still hard to get a figure to hold. And as you already saw, the plasma pistol looks like it always has. Pretty decent. Now, even though there are a couple of problems that I'll point out, I'm going to say right off the bat that I think this is a must-have package, 4-pack for Halo fans, especially Halo 3 fans, especially people that played the campaign co-op, because it's a really nice pack overall. But the number one reason why I think you should get this pack is the Arbiter. The new paint scheme is phenomenal, if you ask me. I think it's the best one yet. I think it's the most accurate, and it just looks great. These other 2 guys look really good. Chief looks okay. So we're going to start with him. Well, actually, before we do that, let me not get ahead of myself. Just for scale purposes, the tallest one of them, based on how they're posed, is only 5.5 inches tall. So they are still the Halo 3 figures, not quite as big as the ones that came out since then. As I said, Chief is on that newer body without the bicep swivel and with slightly different hips. Still a decent figure. Let me get these guys out of the way so we don't have focus issues. Still a decent figure, still looks good overall. Proportions are a little bit better than some of the past versions of Chief in some cases, but in other cases they're not as good. Like, he's got these gigantic hands and extra long wrists and kind of skinny legs. So it's not the best version, probably. I'm going to say it's not. Some people will say it is, though. So that's really just a matter of opinion based on the articulation and the joints. Standard head articulation. He's got that no bicep swivel ball disc shoulder. Same thing with the elbow. It's missing that swivel that's down here in the forearm that the older versions had, but it still has it in the bicep, and it has a hinge there. Then the wrist has a swivel and a hinge rather than that ball joint. This is not as effective as the ball joint, in my opinion. And the hands are just kind of big and goofy looking. But hey, that's up to you again. Ball jointed torso, so good range of motion there. Not the best, but pretty good. No waist articulation. And the hips are fairly limited as well. They have that swivel joint that's kind of more recognizable from the ODST or the Marines. And then the hip is on kind of a ball peg. The thigh is on kind of a ball peg for the rotation, and it has almost no play side to side, so it's pretty limited there as well. The knee joint, pretty standard. It's got the hinge there, and then it rotates at the thigh. And then the ankle, which I think is probably the least quality of the joints, it's just really big and ugly. It's got the rotation in it at the top and at the bottom, but it's really big and really just not good looking. It's got no detailing just really kind of ugly. So I don't care for that at all. Personally, for me, I prefer the older version of Chief, but some people might like this one. And then the toe has that ball jointed toe. Actually, no, this one's a hinge. That's right, the newer one's a hinge. So it's a hinge that has a swivel on it, I believe. It might be, yeah, maybe it's a ball joint in there. Looks like it is. Okay, so it's a ball joint, whatever. Toe's good either way. The toe's fine. Paint scheme's fine overall. Paint job. It's got a little bit of a black wash going throughout. Not really any dry brushing or silver on top to give it the detailing. So it's really just that silver on the top there and a black wash. The visor's done really well. I don't know if you can tell, but it's got a little bit of a darker gold on the sides compared to the center. But overall, the paints are good, and it's a solid figure. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just I prefer the older version personally. So there's Chief. We're going to save Arbiter for last. Next we have this guy. Absolutely great paint job on this guy. The blue is amazingly good. Really, really cool looking. If you ask me, which I assume you are since you're watching this video, he might be the best looking out of the bunch just because of that blue. It's just a really cool shade, and it looks awesome. The black has the wash over, or wash in all the recesses, and there's a nice gray on top of that. So it just has really nice depth in the undersuit. And as I said, the blue's just wonderful. And then he's got all these nice Forerunner logos or symbols all over him. On his thigh armor, his wrist armor, the other wrist, not on the other thigh, and on the chest. So really, really nice looking figure. There's a little bit more on his back there. Just of the standard combat elites, this is definitely the best looking one. The helmet does come off, as you can see. He's got all the same articulation as before. The neck's articulated, the head's articulated. He's got ball disc shoulders. Some people are saying they're having trouble with some of the ball joints. I didn't have any trouble, so I guess maybe I'm just lucky, I don't know. Bicep swivels built in there. Single jointed elbow. Ball peg on the wrist. Again, it's super flimsy. I don't like the way they made that before. I still don't like it. And they didn't give us the hinged hands. It's just the fixed hand with the peg in it. So you're going to need to heat that up before you can give it an accessory, which kind of stinks. But what are you going to do? Torso is on a really nice ball joint, so there's a great range of motion there. The hips have a swivel and then a ball joint. So pretty much full range of motion in the hips. The knee joint, single jointed knee, no rotation in that at all. And then the ankle is another joint that I really don't like. There's a hinge in there that lets the foot go back and forth, and then the foot swivels, and then the hinge itself swivels. So just the way it's made, and it's kind of hard to explain, but if you have one, you know what I'm talking about. It's really hard to get the foot in the position you want it in. So good luck with that. It's a little tricky, but it's worth it because these are really nicely designed figures. They look great. This one, same exact articulation and everything, so I'm not going to go through it all, but he does have different armor and different paint job. Now this guy is not quite as metallic as the other one. It's more of a flat metallic, but it also looks very, very nice. It looks great on the figure. He's got the same set of emblems on the armor. If I can get them both in the shot, I think you can kind of see that there. So he's got the same set of emblems everywhere, or symbols, but it still looks really good. The symbols really stand out nicely on this burgundy, maroon, whatever color you want to call it, and he just looks great overall. I don't remember which armor this is. Maybe the aesthetic, or I don't remember, so I'm sure people are going to yell at me, but I don't remember, so too bad. That's the armor he has though, and he looks really good, so definitely nice to have. And just in case anybody's wondering, that's him right there. And last but not least, we have the Arbiter, which we've gotten two different versions of already before, basically just repaints of each other. This is the third, and it is absolutely great looking. He's got this darker goldish, bronzish, copperish, brassish armor with really nice wash. It just looks really good. It looks really good. I don't know if you can tell in the video, but in person, it's quite impressive. The Under Armour has all the blue lining throughout it, and that looks really good. Really, there's nothing that looks bad about this guy other than the sculpt. He still is a little bit scrawny and still has kind of the spindly legs with the big feet, but what are you going to do? It's still, it's fine. It's what it was before, but now it looks way better due to the paint. He's got the same articulation as the other elites, so I'm not going to get into it too much. His ankles are a little bit easier just because of the sculpt, but otherwise it's the same as the other guys. Now mine came with a busted wrist because he's got the skinny wrists as well, so I am already waiting for the replacement to come in. But either way, he's got the little ball peg wrists. One open hand, one closed hand, so you're really only going to get one weapon out of him. He does have a peg on his back though, and on his thigh, so you should be able to pose him just fine. And like I said, this is easily the best looking Arbiter to date. So there it is, guys. There's the Halo 3 Co-op 4-pack from the Halo Universe Series 1. There they all are, kind of just laying there. But thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Hope it was informative. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Please stay tuned for more video reviews and more custom figures. And in the meantime, keep collecting.